I'm just waking up for the day with an alarm from my iPhone 13 mini. And while I wake up, there's a HomeKit automation that's automatically opening my curtains using my SwitchBot curtains. I silence my alarm, and here's the first difference from my Pro Max. I don't check it. On my iPhone 15 Pro Max, something about the always-on display, the constant notifications that had me staying in bed, scrolling through endless notifications, to the point where I might actually lay back down and stay in bed until 8 a.m. But with the Mini, I just grab it and I go. The one thing I keep on my lock screen to glance at is my fitness, which is tied to my Apple Watch here, and that is my main goal with the 13 mini: fitness and productivity. So to start things off, I'm getting ready to take Hallie for a WALK. Can't say the actual word because I can't disappoint Ruben. She doesn't get to come. So I'm taking Hallie out for 5K this morning. Sounds a little bit crazy, but it's really just a 45-minute trail that we take while we try to get hers and my weight under control. Some days we actually even go a full 7K, depending on the route that we take. Hallie, come on. Go ahead. I'm logging this through using an Apple Watch workout that's going to track my steps and my distance while also monitoring my heart rate so that I can see how we do on this workout. And the cool thing is that we're going to get trends from the workout that I can see on my iPhone and see if we're improving over this week, month, year even. The beautiful thing about this that I wanted to show is that I can have Hallie on a leash in one hand and then my phone in the other, and this is my chance to get caught up on important notifications throughout the day. Even the small things like being able to switch to a different playlist with one hand is really nice to be able to do, and something that's a struggle with the Pro Max. All things I was going to show because it's easy to hold the leash in one hand and the Mini in the other, but it turns out it's much harder to hold the leash, the Mini, and also a camera to show it all. When I get home, I'm either using my iPhone 13 mini or my Apple Watch to unlock the SwitchBot Lock Pro, which uses the Apple Home app to unlock my door. I can also use my fingerprint to unlock, which is great, but it's good to have both options depending on what I want to use. So we just finished our 45 minutes. I'm going to get Hallie to grab some water. Go get a drink. I'm going to grab some too. So the tech I'm using here is the Hydrate Spark Smart Water Bottle. It's a sleek bottle with a sensor in the bottom that's going to log the weight of the water as you drink it and then log that within the app. And if I fall behind, it's going to glow to remind me to keep drinking throughout the day. It's sort of like this reflex now, like it starts to glow and I'm conditioned to now automatically drink water. So I guess it sort of is working. This model is the 21 ounce or the 620 milliliter, which is large enough to fit a lot of water, but also slim enough that it's going to fit in all of my cup holders within my car or anywhere else. I know it sort of sounds like an ad, but it's not. I've been using the Hydrate Spark bottles since the first generation. I even convinced my last employer to get it for everyone on the team, but I just thought it was the coolest thing and it's great for your quality of life. But where I'm trying to go with this is that it's now 7:30, which means it's time for my workout. So here we are in our makeshift gym. I have an Apple TV here, which I use to play Apple Music throughout any of my workouts. We don't have a lot of equipment here. I am not a personal trainer to know how many reps to do or how to maximize my workouts. And so I searched every single fitness app on the top 100, and the one that I landed on was called Fitbod. This lets me choose the equipment that I have available, what my goals are, and then it automatically builds a daily workout for me based on my time frame. The app guides me through each set, allowing me to keep track of how many reps you're doing and what weights you're using. I really like this approach that makes it more like a fitness journal instead of Apple Fitness, which is more of a guided workout. I simply just wanted something that could log my reps and then tell me how to improve next time. So that's really all that I wanted, but some bonuses I found along the way is that it's actually monitoring what muscles are worn, taking them out of the next workouts, and then bringing them back in once they are recovered. So you can see it on a diagram where the red is the most worn. Then it's going to use that data to remove those body parts from workouts until they're more recovered. It also uses ratings from each of your reps and AI to figure out when you can actually increase your weights and then push you harder. It's been a game changer. I've been using it for a month. It is a paid subscription, but after the quick free trial, I was sold and I bought it right away. way better than going to a gym and not having the guide than I have with this app. And it's amazing, and it's all just run right from my iPhone 13 mini. So I'm done my workout, I just had a shower, and now I'm making my morning protein shake. Super basic, 2 scoops of ice, 1/3 cup almond milk, 3/4 cup Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon cocoa, 2 tablespoons peanut butter, 1 scoop of whey isolate, and then 1 banana, and then blend it. Anyone who knows me knows this is my favorite part of my entire day, and I'm tracking this protein intake using the MyFitnessPal app. I can use barcodes to scan the food that I'm eating, and it lets me track my macros each day to ensure that I'm getting enough protein so that I can continue building muscle. I do pay for an annual subscription for this too, but there's also a free version that you can use totally fine to track all of this stuff except the macros, and I used this for years without issues before jumping up to that paid tier, so I recommend you use whatever one works best for you. So it's 9 a.m. and I'm starting work for the day. I do work in the studio where I also film most of my videos. And on my desk setup, I have a lot going on here. The main point is the Apple Studio display. I really like having a 5K display. I know it's expensive, but it's just so easy on the eyes, and I honestly don't think that I could ever go back. I've also got 2 HomePod minis that are paired together that work as my external speakers for the studio display. The studio display speakers are fine, but I just find that 2 HomePod minis together have a much fuller sound, a lot more bass, especially when you're listening to music, and they're just kind of a nice to have for the complete aesthetic. Next to them, I have these 2 touch-sensitive lamps. I got them from Costco. I honestly don't remember what the brand is, but they're this great addition to a sleek-looking desk. It's my favorite part of the entire setup. You touch them to change how dim they are, but they're also rechargeable, so I can unplug the USB-C and then use that as a spare charger to plug in any of my other accessories, and they can continue to work while I'm doing that, and then just plug them back in after, which is a super handy way to kind of hide these USB-C plugs throughout my desk. Speaking of charging, I've also got the Nomad Stand 1, and that charges my iPhone using MagSafe, or uses it in standby mode if that's what I want to use as well, so I can see all my info at a glance, and it kind of just sits there throughout the day. Next up, I've got this vertical MacBook stand that I picked up from Amazon. That's holding multiple MacBooks here, which are the MacBook Pro with M1 Pro chip. That's my main computer. Then the M2 MacBook Air, which I use for work. I also wedged the iPad Magic Keyboard in here for quick access when I need it. And then my iPad sits off to the side using a magnetic stand, which looks super clean. The beautiful thing here is that I can pull it to the side of my Mac and then use it as this second display whenever I want to use it, and then just pick it up and move it away when I don't need it. All of that works wirelessly. Thank you, Apple. Thank you to this ecosystem. That is why I'm locked into this. Other things on my desk include the DJI wireless mic system, which is what I'm using in all of these videos. Those are best to save for a different review completely separate from this, but just know they are amazing. And then my SanDisk SSD to store my video files on, and then a lineup of phones for quick access to testing whenever I need to. My mornings are usually crammed with meetings, and so I'm using the studio display built-in microphone and the built-in camera, which uses center stage so it can follow me around wherever I go. Really nice to have to keep me in focus all the time. Oh, and the last thing about this desk setup is that when I click on my desktop, you can see it folds open to all of these widgets that are easily accessible for all of my current reminders or quick access to any of my widgets for smart home. That's going to do things like change my office lights or turn off the nano leaf strip that's on the back of my studio display for that backlit glow. All of these things are also accessible from my iPhone 13 mini in standby mode or on the home screen for quick access whenever I want it. So it's 12 o'clock now, which means I'm on my lunch, and I usually have to cram in my lunch because then I have to take Ruben out for a WALK, and in between all of that, I'm catching up on today's news, and I'm doing that through an RSS reader called Reader. I added all my top sites in, and then I can easily just scroll through the feed, and it scrolls to the next article. If I ever need to go to the actual site, I can swipe over and it'll take me there, and if there's a topic I think I should be doing a video on later, I'll favorite it for later. Any other time that I have on lunch is usually spent in here in my living room watching TV. I'll either find something on the Apple TV to watch, or I'll use my iPhone 13 mini and I'll cast to the screen to watch something. Isn't he great, by the way? Don't you wish you were subscribed to him? After my lunch, I'm starting my robotic vacuums from my iPhone to clean all 3 floors of the house while I work. That's going to include the Shark AI Vac Mop upstairs, the Ecovacs X2 Omni Vacuum, and the Ecovacs T20 Omni Vacuum in the basement. The X2 Omni has a video monitor so I can check in on the dogs throughout the day, and both that vacuum and the basement T20 Omni have a tank that can auto-empty the dustbin and the dirty water tank after cleaning. It's super convenient, and it essentially means I only have to manually vacuum the stairs, which I'm doing with my Dyson every other day. So the rest of my afternoon is very focused on work, and that's going to look different from day to day, but I'm spending all of that time up here in the office with my desk setup that we just went over. But after 5 p.m., my evenings are always going to look different. First, I'm checking in on my rings to see how I've been doing throughout the day, and if I need to go out, I'll take Hallie on another WALK. But if I'm good, I'll go ahead and make dinner. In the evening, the main thing that I'm using my phone for is controlling my home, and that's everything from turning on the living room lights to the TV backlight, various lamps, the kitchen counter lights, even the bedroom lighting around the TV and the bedside. I also have a widget on my home screen to shut the curtains from SwitchBot, and they're on all of the curtains around my house, so with a quick access I can close them all or open them. I really find that the iPhone 13 mini is small enough that it's not intrusive in my life, but smart enough that it really is this tool that's an extension to help my life. I view it more like a remote control for anything that I need versus the Pro Max, which just felt like this device that was a consuming content machine, and I just spent absolutely way too much time on it. You know, the battery life on the Mini obviously is not nearly as good as the Pro Max if you're using it like a Pro Max, but because I do use it as more of this remote control throughout my day periodically, I typically end the day with 10 to 20% battery left on the Mini when I'm turning off the lights and closing the curtains. Then I'm setting my Mini on my Nomad 3-in-1 stand to charge for the night to do it all over again the next day.